Well, let's cross live to our correspondent in Modena now, Bethany Bell. Bethany, a day of great sadness, but also a celebration of a great life.
Very much so. I mean, in death as in life, Luciano Pavarotti commanded a standing ovation. During the ceremony, they played a recording of the time when he and his father sang the piece Panis Angelicus here in the cathedral in Modena. And when that was finished, the entire congregation stood up and applauded. And outside here in the square as well, people started applauding as well. And it went on for really quite some time. So I think a sense of just how much Luciano Pavarotti meant to the people of Modena and of Italy and the world, and how he'll be missed.
Although the national leaders were there, the President and the Prime Minister and some international personalities, it did have the air of a family occasion.
Very much so. Members of his family were there, his second wife Nicoletta, his daughters by his first wife, his former wife, and his former wife was also there, Adua. And also I think there was a sense here in Modena that the people I've spoken to, the people felt that although he attained this incredible superstardom, he never lost his touch with this place, and he kept in touch with a lot of people he'd been at school with, and I spoke earlier to somebody who'd been at primary school with him and told me how they'd learnt to ski together. So that there is a sense very much of Luciano Pavarotti coming home to Modena, his place.
And he kept Modena on the map. Are there any plans there to commemorate his residency and his connection and keep it on the map?
Very much so. There are plans, we understand, to rename the theatre here in the town after Luciano Pavarotti. And in fact, another person said to me, you know, in the future now, whenever you say to somebody, I come from Modena, their first reaction will be, Luciano Pavarotti. So, I mean, I think this shows in a sense how proud people are. And although a number of people said how very sad they were, and I saw one man with tears streaming down his face, that there is an enormous sense of pride that Luciano Pavarotti came from here and that this place will be remembered because of him.
Bethany Bell, thank you. Well, joining me in the studio is the opera critic Tom Sutcliffe. Tom, Bethany mentioned the standing ovation that he got even at his own funeral. It was a fantastic way to go.
It was. Actually, I was reminded of the fact that when he was being interviewed late in his life, he said, "You won't catch me listening to my own records." But that was because he was actually, I think, at a certain level, like many really wonderful artists, very modest, actually. But yes, he certainly had the opportunity, if he was able to listen to hear a lot of himself at his own funeral. Yes, it was an appropriate funeral, wasn't it? Dignified. Actually, the common touch, but not vulgar. It was a really interesting way of the town saying goodbye to their son, whom they, in a sense, are incredibly proud of, and one understands why. But it's true that we're not going to hear another tenor, I think, in the immediate foreseeable future quite like him, with such a robust technique, with the possibility of going on singing for 40 years. I mean, that really is a remarkable achievement, and it reflects the way that this particular tenor, Pavarotti, had learnt to sing that was completely appropriate, reliable, not messing around with the secret of his genius, which was the voice inside, that he could actually communicate directly with so many people what he felt. I mean, these songs, of course, about love in opera, and many of times that tenors have to come up with those, but he could make it completely believable and truthful to everybody.
I don't know whether it's apocryphal, but when Caruso died, they say that his vocal cords were removed to see what was special about them. Much to their annoyance, nothing awfully special on the mortician's slab. But with Pavarotti, you just had the feeling that there was something special there, something anatomically special, because of that almost trumpet-like resonance that he could generate.
Individual tenors have different kind of color of sound, don't they? And one of the things that the Italian style is famous for is developing a really colorful quality in the sound that the singer produces. So I think that Pavarotti's individual